Welcome to the Empowered Podcast with Deanna Merlino, an all-encompassing personal development show where I will be sharing with you just how to transform yourself into the best version of you, both inside and out. From wellness, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and manifestation, I'll be showing you exactly how to live your best life. I will be keeping it as real and raw as it gets. So get ready to peel back the layers and really transform yourself under the surface. Because nothing is better than finding your purpose and living this life as your true, authentic self. Hello, Empowered fam. I have a really great treat for you today. And Mikaela, she's likely going to be using this for her podcast too. So this introduction goes both ways. But today I have Mikaela Filar with me, and I have been just following her journey for quite a while now. It was one of those things where she kind of just popped up on Instagram and I loved her energy and what she was about. And we kind of just seemed to be on the same journey. So I thought it would be really fun and really amazing to connect and really share with our people in this way. So Mikaela, thank you for being here. I'm so excited.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited as well. I appreciate you so much for having me on.
Yes, this is going to be a fun ride. We are totally just kind of going with the flow and seeing what comes up. So I'm sure it's going to be a really fun and interesting time. Mikaela, I would love if you kind of just give my listeners an idea of who you are, your background, just whatever comes up, and just take the floor, share your heart.
Okay. Well, hi, my name is Mikaela. I do have a podcast. So if you're listening to this on Chats with Your Self-Worth BFF, welcome. So excited to have you here and to be doing this collaboration. So I am from Ventura, California. I was born and raised on the beach. I love the beach, big beach girl. I'm actually pretending like it's summer, like, because it should be sunny outside, but it's not. So it's like, if I just wear my shells and my rainbow shirt, like, I'll be good.
I'll feel
get
it.
sunny outside eventually. Yeah, I'm manifesting the hot summer beautifulness. But so I recently moved to Costa Mesa, California, which is just this beautiful little vibey beach town. And I was in a place in my life about 6-7 months ago where I just felt stuck, I guess is the best way to put it. I felt like I had no idea where I was going with my life. I wanted to switch totally pivot my career path. I was full-time in network marketing, and I just realized that that wasn't the path that I wanted to go down for the rest of my life. I knew I've been in personal training. I've been in fitness, which is something that we both definitely have in common, for about a decade now. I'm 30 years old. Fitness is just something that's always been super passionate, and something that I love also about you. I was listening to one of your podcasts earlier today, and you're doing a fitness retreat that is all about mind, body, and soul connection, which is something that I'm also very passionate about as well. And I've always been so into helping people through the fitness and health world and going that direction. And recently, over the last 3 years, I've been on a healing journey, just really trying to get to know myself and love myself and heal my traumas and go through that mentality wise, because it's so insane how everything is so connected. And if you don't get to the root cause, how it can expand into other parts of your life. So I have recently dove very deep into that. And it's just progressed over the last 3 years. In the last 6 months, I really dove deep into it, hired a mentor, started taking courses, getting super clear on exactly how to dive really deep into this work and how to really get to the root cause of all of my issues, so to say. As we see as issues, we all think that we have these issues when really they're not issues. They're actually what make us special, what make us unique, and what make us us. And they guide us into our path, what we're supposed to be doing with our future. But we have to take the time to take a step back and to examine it, and then to move forward with that in our life. So yeah, that's a little bit of a backstory about me and my journey right now. I'm just really dove really deep. I started a podcast all about self-worth. I want to help people through this work. So fitness is a great, tool to help people with this, with their body, and they're getting to know themselves and to realize that they are so much more capable of what they think that they are. And then you've also got the spirituality side and the mentality side, and just becoming a light and having that awakening, as they say. And that is what I'm kind of helping people push through, because when you have an awakening, when you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? Like, it could feel like your whole life is just blowing up. Right. And that's where I was at
Literal
6 months
explosion.
ago. Yes. So that's where I was at 6 months ago. And so through this work, I've just been like, you know what? This is so insane. And it's impacted my life in such a impactful way that I want to share it with the world. And so I started a podcast. I started a business where I have one-on-one sessions with individuals, helping them figure out exactly what their path is or what their blocks are, how they can move forward if they are feeling stuck. I'm an intuitive energetic healer, which means that I use my intuition to guide people through source, their higher self. I can step into their energy field. I can step into their higher self field. I can read their thoughts, and I can help them move forward and move through whatever it is that they are feeling, quote unquote, stuck in. So it's been a really incredible, beautiful journey. And I'm so excited because we're just getting started. That was a lot.
Yes,
I just
thank you
like
so
stole the
much.
show.
Well, that's the point. So it's totally fine. I love that. I love it because I feel like when I stepped into this, and I don't know your backstory, so this is just me talking about in this moment, but like, I feel like you have owned it and claimed it so early. Like, I feel like it took me so long to come out of the woo closet and like really own, like, you're just like, I'm an intuitive healer. I read your mind, hire me because I'm going to just change your life. Like, good for you for
Yes.
being able to just step into that and be like, this is what I do. This is who I am. And it's bomb as fuck, because that's
Word.
huge. And people need that. Like, that's where we're at as a collective, is just like us finding our power, but also having other people stand in their power as like a pink ticket to be like, oh, if they're doing it, I'm going to do it too.
100%. I love that you just said that. And I love that you just referenced it as the woo closet. Like, that is, I'm sorry, that is so funny. That is so great. And you know what? I have to say that it's when you hire a mentor, you do things at an expedited rate, right? You don't, and also, like, I always say this, like, if you have a passion, if you have something that you love to do, and whatever it may be, and you have people chirping in your ear telling you shouldn't, should, why are you taking advice from somebody who doesn't, one, understand what you're doing, two, hasn't done what you're doing? And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, do whatever fulfills you in that moment. Do whatever you feel makes you a better person in that moment for other people as well. Like, you don't need to be listening and taking in all of this unsolicited advice from people who haven't even been where you are going.
Yeah.
You know, like, the things that you and I do are we're the top 2% of the world. 98% of the world isn't even doing what we're doing. It's a lot.
Exactly.
It's crazy. But it's
quick
amazing.
question.
Yes.
Is Danielle McCleary your coach?
No.
No. Okay. So I do coaching with Danielle, and it just like, I don't know, it sounded a lot like things. I mean, I feel like anyone who's in that space has that same mentality. But I was just curious because I'm like, you have so much of that same energy as her as a coach. So I was just curious if you were in her container. But yeah, you couldn't possibly be more spot on. And I feel like it's picking up, like it's happening more rapidly, where people are really starting to awaken and honor their gifts and strengthen their gifts and want to put themselves out there and better their life, because we all have that ability. We all have the option And it's like at some point, I feel like 2020, when the world just kind of blew up, it was like, okay, like something's not working. This is not it for me. And we were stuck alone. So you had to turn inwards. And so it's just like been catapulting us to be like, there's more out there. This isn't working. And I need to start listening to myself and not this infiltration of inaccurate information that we're bombarded with consistently.
100%. So Danielle and I are close friends, and I've known her for years. So there is that. And I do also work with her in a different capacity, not the coaching capacity, but I'm actually her virtual assistant. So
Are you kidding me? I didn't
know. It's
I literally did not know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that I picked up on that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But also Danielle and I, like, even because we both, all three of us were on the same network marketing company. And so
yeah,
and so Danielle is somebody I wasn't, on her team, but I've been following her story for so long. And she's part of the reason that I even jumped in full force like I did. Cause I was like, I am too different. I'm too different for this company. Like I don't know, it's not going to end up working out. And then I see Danielle just blazing the trail and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if she could do it, I could do it. She's different. Like, let's go. And then I went for it. But, yeah. So then what else did you just talk about that I wanted to touch on so bad? Okay. It'll come back to me. I'm sorry.
It'll come back. No, you're good. I was just kind of talking about like the mass awakening and how the pandemic really just like shook us out of almost like this sleep that we were in, essentially.
You mentioned that everyone has this ability, right? Because we are told as a mass that like we're just told what to do all the time. We're told when to go to school. We're told when to wake up. We're told when to go to sleep. We're told when to like watch the news. Like there's just so much that we're told what to do, how to do it. We're told to go to school. We're told to go to college. We're told to get a job. We're told to only have a 2-week vacation per year. Like there's just so much that we're told is how life should be. This is how life should be. This is what society sees as the norm. And because we're told what to do all the time, constantly by all these different outside sources, what happens is that our intuition, our inner knowing, that voice inside of us, that's like really telling us how to live our life and how to flow and live in our highest divine alignment and just thrive. It's quieted down. It's shut down. And we forget that we have it. And there's a select few of us that have a higher frequency than others. So they're like frequencies of humans, right? So, and if you have, I think it's below like a 500, it's between 1 and 1,000. And people who are like 800 to 1,000 are like God, Jesus. And then you've got the 500 to 400 or 400, 500 or 400 to 600, which is people who are just like very highly intuitive. Those are like the mediums, the psychics, intuitive readers. And then you've got everyone else that's below like a 400, which are just like normal frequency. Like, and that just means that they haven't lived as many lives as we have. Right. And this is like very woo woo. I know.
Love it. I'm here for it.
Okay. So it just means that I personally believe we all have the capability of learning to grow this and strengthen our intuition. And the less that we listen to what's going on outside of ourselves and the more we tune in to ourselves is the moment that we are going to start living the life that we desire to live. So the second thing that I just like was like, oh, shoot, is okay. So the past lives thing. So I was listening to a podcast. It was Ed Milet podcast, and Dwight, from The Office, he was there too. And they were talking about how they both recently lost their fathers, and they were both the last in the room with their fathers when they had passed away. And when they were saying goodbye, they realized in that moment, they both, different times, different people, different rooms, had the same exact epiphany, the same exact realization that they were in that room with their father's vessel, with their father's body, but their father wasn't in that body anymore. Their father's, the soul had passed, the soul had moved on. What is so beautiful about becoming with our souls being able, there are a lot of souls up there in the world, like in the soul world, in the realm of souls, there are a lot of souls up there, and they're begging to come down and be in a human form, in a human body. And like, you have a better chance of winning the lottery than you do of becoming a human in human form from soul realm. What's so beautiful about being a human, and what we have to realize when we are just lucky enough to be in this human form, to live a life, to be able to learn these lessons, because you don't learn anything when you're up in soul world. You're just in soul world, being a soul, hanging out. And I'm sure that's why they want to come down, because they want to learn, they want to grow, they want to evolve. And that's why it's so much in our human nature to constantly change, evolve, and grow. Right. So that's why we have these past lives, we have our future lives. Like, our soul, it comes down in so many like different forms and human vessels. And I just think that when we have the opportunity to become a human, that we should take that opportunity and do our best to live our most divine, highest aligned self, living our best life, grateful for every single day, no matter what you've been through, finding that silver lining and just pushing through and making the most of it.
That's so good. I'm not even like remotely surprised, but I had a session with one of my spiritual coaching clients today, and we were on the topic of like limiting beliefs and just her money mindset. And the biggest thing that came up for her was her lack of self-worth, and how she's tied her feelings of unworthiness, not being worthy to make money. And I was talking to her literally about the chance of her coming into human form and being alive is so like the exponential number. It's like a bajillion, whatever the chance of coming into this life. Like, she is here because she is innately worthy. Like, we are all here and we're worthy, and that's it. Like, God decided we got to be here at this time. Our souls got to be here at this time in this body, and we are just worthy to be here because we are. And what could you possibly be more grateful for than that? Like, 100%. We are alive and breathing in the human experience right now. And like you said, there's so many other souls that want to come in. Are things rosy and gold every single day? No, but at the end of the day, we are so grateful to be alive and here in this life, in this moment. And it's through those, like, taking a pivot here, it's through those moments of discomfort, it's through those traumas, it's through those pains, it's through those lows that we learn and shift and evolve. And then, like you and I have done, I always say you get to make your pain power, or something I heard recently was like, you get to make your mess your message. And what more of a gift is there than that?
Yes, I love all of it. And I mean, I don't really know your whole background either. And you can ask me questions and I can ask you questions and we can bounce back on that. But like, if yours is anything like mine, which you've said that we are similar in a sense, that we are healers. We are meant to help others who are going through things that we've been through in our past, because we've learned how to navigate through these things and we've come out the other end and we are who we are today because of those things. And so it makes it that much more special to be able to, you're right. You go through these traumas and these trials, these tribulations, all these things that we perceive as shit, but I wouldn't be who I am today without all that. I wouldn't be able to help who I want to help without all that. I wouldn't be able to do what I do as a career without all of that.
Literally. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what a gift is that, not only for you, but a gift to the world to be able, like, yeah, when you're going through it, it's awful. But if you hadn't been through whatever traumas or pains or heartbreaks or, trials and tribulations that you went through, you wouldn't have that insight to offer. Yeah, actually, just for your listeners, I guess I'll kind of jump into my background and how I really got into all of this. But for me, it was definitely the middle of the pandemic. It was actually the start of the pandemic. Right before that, I had decided that I truly wanted to be my own boss. I had been in network marketing and was building a good business. And I realized like having a boss was not for me. Truly, my awakening and really just this massive shift in my life took place when the pandemic started. And so I had been really already deciding that I wanted to make a shift in my life. And I'd worked a lot of jobs over time, but all of them were not fulfilling to me in any way, shape, or form. And the last job that I have, I always find it so funny, as I literally had on khaki pants, steel toe boots, collared t-shirts, and I was selling screws and power tools to men. Like how I ended up there, I really don't even know. Yeah, like super empowering, but like not good for, like not for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually did really great. I was getting bonuses nonstop.
Oh, I
like
bet
flying
you
me
were,
to training
girl.
schools. Yeah.
Those steel cut boots, steel cut. I'm thinking about oats now. What the hell?
Are you hungry?
I'm drinking my protein shake. I don't know. That should be
You're
good.
You're good. But yeah, so I decided like I'm going to do something that I'm really passionate about. And I had been working out and competing for the last decade. And I was like, personal training is like, that is what I should be doing. And so I decided to commit to that. I started an LLC. I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I was so lit up. And then literally 2 weeks later, the world shut down. And I was panicking because I passed up a really good job, retirement, like all the things. And I was like, what did I just do? Which started a spiral. Like that was definitely my dark night of the soul. For anyone who doesn't know who that is, it's like essentially when your whole world just gets turned upside down and you are just like in a pit. And we all have them, and we all sometimes even have more than one. Yeah. So I was just like, okay, what do I do? And at first, honestly, I was kind of excited because I've been working really hard my whole life. That is like always was my downfall. Like I have to work really hard to be successful. Rah. So at first I was like, well, this is kind of fun, like a 2-week break, 3 weeks to slow the curve, air quotes, right? And I'm in New York State. So like, when we got shut down, down for like a long time. And so I was not well. I was really unwell. And then I knew that it was like 3 weeks of pity party, like 3 weeks of crying, 3 weeks of feeding into the news, 3 weeks of like just nothing good. And then it was like the light in my head. It was like the voice turned on, and it was like, this is when you make your decision. Are you going to take back the reins and do what you can, control what you can, not focus on what you can't? Or are you going to keep moping in this hole? And I decided to pivot, and I focused on what I could do online. I created an online app called DM Fit to personal train online. And also, we had been trying to get pregnant for a year and a half. And then all of a sudden I was pregnant, and I was like, of course I get pregnant in the middle of this pandemic, but it's fine. This is what I wanted. And I use that as fuel. I was like, I am going to build as fast and hard as I can in this time so that when our son gets here, no matter what the state of the world is, like we'll have a direction, like we'll have a clear path. And I'm so glad that I did that, because now I work from home. Like now I put in the work, and now I'm able to stay home with my son. But it didn't end there. 3 months postpartum, which like postpartum was it's crazy, because for anyone who has kids or have been through that, like everyone warned me about labor. Like labor is going to be so hard. Labor is going to be the biggest challenge of your life. Like labor for me was cake. Labor was literally like 4.5 hours, start to finish, 2 pushes, baby out, we're good. Like, I worked out until right before that baby. I mentally prepared. I manifested my birth. Like I was really focused.
Yeah.
the fourth trimester, which no one told me about, which is essentially like the 3 months after your baby, was I got hit by a Mack truck. Like I was unprepared. It was so difficult. I fully lost who I was. I had no idea which way was upside down or right side up. And then 3 months postpartum, my dad passed away out of the blue. And I was just heartbroken. I mean, just devastated. All my parents ever wanted was to have a grandson. Thank you. Yeah, it was a very tough time. And the craziest thing about grief is that it's like, while you're busy grieving the loss of this person and the life that you thought you were going to have, like my dad built buildings his whole life. I thought they were going to be building homes and tools and riding heavy construction machinery, but then you grieve the life that they miss out on. Like my dad doesn't get to have that relationship with my son, as well as my son doesn't get to have that relationship with my dad. And so it was really tough, but thankfully, I had already started that spiritual journey. So I was and am very aware that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, right? And so I know that while my dad is not here in physical form with us, that he is still very much around and still very much a part of our lives. I'm very easily able to connect and communicate with him, thankfully, because of what I do. And I know I have practices, and I have that awareness to be able to tune in and get signs and messages when he's around.
It's beautiful.
But that is, thank you. And I'm so grateful. And that, and knowing that I had to be better for my son, were two huge catalysts for everything I'm doing and where I'm at now. But I will never forget. Sorry, this turned into a real long story.
No, I love it. I'm so intrigued.
Fantastic. Good. I'm glad. I was having really bad nightmares. That's how this all started. And someone in our network marketing line, like not on my team, just someone on my team's members, reached out and was like, hey, I know this is going to sound super weird, but I am practicing with a shamanic healer. And a lot of times when we have nightmares, it's from unresolved trauma. And I have a life full of trauma, from childhood trauma to sexual assault in high school to literally like 7 years of abusive relationships as a young adult. Like I have a lifetime of things to work through, right? And so I was like, oh, that's a thing. Sure, I'm open to it. And she was like, okay, we have a lot to work through, whatever. She was telling me, she was like, this happened when you were 2, this happened when you were 5, this happened when you were 12. And here I am like, whoa, this is wild. No one on earth would know these things. So like, you're legit. I'm obsessed. Love it. And she said to me, because I had just found out I was pregnant, and she was like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. Your son is like shrouded in this ruby golden fabric, and you are literally surrounded by beings who are here, not for you, for him, in the best way possible. Like you're protected because of him, but like, he has a very, very important purpose in his life, and you need to be prepared. And I was
I just got the chills.
Same. I was like, okay. And so she was like, how is your husband with this stuff? Like, and I was like, I mean, he's very much like, you do you, not my thing, but like, you do you. And she was like, well, it's about to be his thing, because the two of you were like, there's a purpose here and there will be no denying it. And you have to get ready for a serious ride. So I was like, okay. So I dove in. And so I feel like I'm almost preparing for battle. I don't have a better way to say that, but like just preparing myself and him for who knows what's going to come up in the future. And so exciting. And I'm so grateful. And now I've built a life around helping others to navigate all of this while I also continue to navigate it. So it's been a really beautiful journey and a magical ride.
Yeah, that is your story is amazing. Like that was incredible. And I find it so interesting and not surprising at all that, same, just the fact that you decide, 2 weeks before the pandemic hits, that you're going to quit your corporate job and go for your dreams. And then it was just one thing after the other, and you had to work through it, and you had to like figure out, okay, am I going to just go back to what's comfortable, or I'm going to take this situation and just say fuck it. And I don't know if you say the F word on your podcast, but I do.
Let her rip.
Like go for it, and I'm so happy to hear that you went for it, because your story is incredible and you are going to change so many lives. And we have like that's kind of similar story in the fact of, life blows up and then you just kind of just gotta roll with it. But a lot of people will it takes a special kind of person to roll with it and to see the light at the end of the tunnel and to know that everything is for a reason, because a lot of the world plays the victim game and just wants to be sad, and that sucks. But that's why we're here, to help pull them out of that. So,
and I think every one of us who continues to show like, yeah, it's hard, but I'm going to do it anyhow. That is what, like, it's not denied. There's people out there I don't like seeing when I have like, it's only showing the golden reel, only showing like my life is amazing. Like, it is not like that all the time. It's the people who are willing to show it's tough and it's hard, but I will show you that you can do it anyhow. That is what's literally going to change our world, because we all go through it, but we need to know that it can be done and we can push on.
100%. And that's something that I've always been so like, I love this about myself. Like, I'm a toot my own horn. I'm a very open, real, honest, vulnerable person. Like, and I admire that about myself so much, because you don't find a lot of that out in the social media world nowadays. Okay, earlier, this just came back to me. You were saying how it's amazing that I have come out of the woo closet so soon, and I'm just rolling with it and being like, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I'm going to teach you. Yes, working with a mentor is helping with that, and being in the community, because I'm in this community of other people who are working with her too, and I also have friends that are also on the same page as me. So there's that help, but also just me not, learning knowing who the fuck I am and knowing what I bring to the table and how I can help people, and like wanting the people who get it, they will get it and they will come to me and they will see that. And I will not have to beg them to see that. And I don't have to explain myself, because they will just know, because I fucking know, but I do think it's funny, because I hear them like, is she okay?
It's so funny because I see it, I feel it, I hear it.
100%. Like from these other voices, like I can hear people's thoughts just coming in. Like, is she okay? Like, does she
well?
Like, what is she moves to Costa Mesa? She literally she has a new group of friends. She is all into this like spiritual woo stuff. She's talking whatever that is, people who don't understand or don't see things the way that we see things. They're like, she's fucking crazy. She's crazy. She went crazy. Her ex drove her insane. It was the final last straw.
She broke.
She broken. But that's the thing. Yes, I did break, you guys. I did. But you want to know something? I am more myself than I ever have been. And it's been such an incredible, beautiful journey. And another amazing thing that I will share through this work, another part of the reason I'm so passionate. I've been on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medication for over 2 years. And I haven't been on them for a month and a half now. And that is because of this work. That is because I got to the root cause. You can put a Band-Aid, like I used those antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications. I used those as a Band-Aid, as a crutch to get me from A to B, but my intention was never to be on them for the rest of my life. At first I was like, I'm gonna need these for the rest of my life because your girl's fucked up. but then I was like, I learned about this work. I got really into it and I was like, okay, I'm not, yes, I've been through some messed up stuff, but I'm going to work through it and I'm going to move forward and I'm not going to dwell on it anymore. I'm not going to let it have that power over me. And then I'm going to heal that. And mind you, we don't just wake up, we're not just waking up and we're healed one day. Like I still have things that I have to work through. I still work through things every single day. And I will continue for the rest of my life. Everyone will. There's always going to be something that pops up or something new that pops up or, like a trigger. Like, why is that triggering me? And then you have to find that out. It's not the other person's fault, right? So but the beautiful thing about that is like, I get to take what I'm learning and how I'm healing and how I'm developing, and I get to show others how to do the same.
It's almost like a piece of pottery that you drop and shatter and you put it back together, but it's never quite the same. But that's where the light comes through. That's where we shine. The light shines through us in those cracks and those places. And that's what heals us. And that's what makes us that better version of ourselves. And on top of that, as you were saying, like, we will literally never stop healing. There will always be another layer and another layer. You can always dig deeper. You can, especially going back to the whole past lives things or multiple life things. We have had, everyone has a different amount of past lives, but like I work with an ascension practitioner as one of my people. And I remember when I went to her, she was like, I've never seen this many past lives in my 20 years of service. So in my head, I was like, okay, kind of cool. But also I was like, yikes, that's a lot of, you carry all of that with you. Like, it's almost like a residue, a stain that doesn't come out. And so past life work is so important too, because it's like, if you carry those lessons with you, you carry those traumas and those triggers with you. And actually kind of talking about this, I'll just throw this out here almost as like a way to like guide yourself through this in a sense. If you have something that you're dealing with and you can't figure out, like, okay, let's put it this way. I have an irrational fear of cockroaches. This is just popped up for me. This is the first thing that's coming to me. Like, I can't see them. I can't think of them. They freak me out to like, I could pet a snake and I'd be fine. I cannot do cockroaches. But I've never had an experience in this life that would cause me to have this extreme irrational, like severe fear of cockroaches. Something like that probably stems from a past life. And as a matter of fact, I know it has, because I've had a very vivid dream before of a scenario where I died and was trapped in a like cave with cockroaches essentially. But like, so it could be anything. It could be like, you get this panic in your system every time you go to a gas station and you don't know why. You probably will just come up with a scenario. You may have gotten hit by a car or shot at a gas station in a past life. So when you're having, or flying, if you have an irrational fear of flying and you don't know why, you may have died in a plane crash in a past life. Like if you have something that's happening in this life that you can't get to the root of, like there's no source to it, that's probably something bothering you from a past life, which can be healed when you look at it and go through the process of past life regression healing. I don't even know how I ended up on that tangent, but just kind of, there's so many avenues of healing that we have and so many things that we have to, that's what it was. There's so much stuff that we have to work through. It's never ending. And it's just going to keep going on and on. Mm-hmm. And that's not to scare anyone by any means.
I was just going to say that either. Yeah. It's not all rainbows and butterflies over here being a spiritual healed being. But let me tell you, it's great. It's so great. You will find so much out about yourself and you'll just be like, oh my gosh, this is why I'm like this. And this is why I'm like this. And why did I ever care about this? And like, do I actually care about this? Or was it just triggering me because of that? It's like, there's so many layers to it and it's not always rainbows and butterflies. And your life will blow up because when you go through an awakening, when you decide to stand back into your power, like shit's going to have to purge. Things that are not serving your current life are going to have to go, and they might not go in a peaceful way. And also, let's say, it's just there's you've got to purge. You might do this work, and you might start to smell like extra bad. Like that's a thing. Like you might get sick, You might
A
start to get
physical
acne,
purge.
break out. Yeah, there's like so many different crazy
Mhm.
scenarios that could happen when you do start to do the work within. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, the body keeps the score, right? And so I always like to say to my clients, better out than in, because your body holds on to all of it. And the only way to get rid of it is to work it out of your system. So, yeah, it might not always be pleasant, but it's worth it because you are going to live the most divinely aligned, the most abundant, the most magical life that you possibly could. And another like visual that's coming up for me is almost like a bathtub. If the bathtub is already full, you can't add anything more to it. It's just going to overflow. If you drain the bathtub, then you can fill it back up with fresh water. It's like you have
yes,
to, in order to make space for the magic to come in, you have to clean the old shit out.
100%. I love that
Mm-hmm.
analogy. That's
Mm-hmm.
great.
Yeah. Wow.
Amazing.
Okay. Well, is there anything else that we're feeling called to talk about or share? I literally feel like we could talk about this all day.
I know. I love talking. I love like talking to other people who get my language.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, you get to have a good, meaningful conversation.
I know exactly. And I
And
mean,
it gets
it,
so deep, it's not surface level. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, I'm so over the surface level bullshit conversations. Like, let's have a real conversation. Let's go
Mhm,
deep. Let's peel back onions. Let's get going. You know what I'm saying?
mhm. That
So
really
that's why I'm
makes me
so
think of
passionate about
too.
like one on ones.
Absolutely. One-on-ones. And for me, I feel like I've even been shifting more into the group space because I've kind of got an addiction to like, okay, I can help one person and that's amazing. And I love the one-on-one connection. But what if I help 10 people at one time? And like, that's kind of how we broke into the retreat space on our end, because it was like, how do we help groups of people? Where can we expand? That's actually, we started an online membership, the Empowered Collective. It's like, where can we meet people where they're at? Because we want to be able to hit them in every capacity, the one-on-ones, the groups, the onlines, the in-person, all the thing. And that's one beautiful thing about social media and the internet, even though it has its pitfalls and it's definitely got its cons for sure and causes harm in some ways. But we're so blessed to live in this lifetime at this time because we can help and reach so many people, which is overall speeding up and accelerating this awakening and this collective expansion of our evolution.
100%. I love that. That's amazing. So, for my listeners, I would love to hear how to find you, what offers you're doing. Like, tell me all the good things.
Yeah, so you can reach me on Instagram. That is where I'm most active. I have everything in my link tree. The Empowered Coach 333 is my Instagram. And currently, right now, I have the Empowered Collective membership. We essentially do a weekly healing. We bring in facilitators and then we do stuff ourselves. I have over 25 modalities. I'm like an education junkie. And like, I'm like, what else can I learn?
I love it.
But we we bring people into, so we have that. I have I would love to bring people over from the West Coast. We have a spiritual retreat July 14th to 16th. It is all inclusive, food, lodging, all the things. And then I just launched that fitness retreat that you mentioned, August 25th to 27th. That's my first solo retreat. So I'm really excited to offer that. And yeah, just any sort of healing, in person, virtual, all the things. My personal training app, DM Fit. I wanted to cover mind, body, and soul, and I think I've pretty much done that.
Oh,
So
you
yeah,
nailed
check out
it.
my Insta.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah.
for your listeners, my podcast is called Empowered with Deanna Merlino. So check it out. Where can my listeners find you? All the
Yes.
offerings, all the things.
Amazing. So, I am found on Instagram and TikTok at Kayla Cakes. So, at Kaela period CAKES. And you can book one-on-one sessions with me through the link in my bio on either platform. And this is very, very new for me, this business. I've literally been doing it for about 2 months now. Like that is
Mm,
it. So, learning the work for about 3 years, but really diving deep into teaching others. So my
mhm,
website is currently being built. super excited about that. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be MikaelaRyanFlar.com. And what else? That's basically it. Just I have a free community on Discord that I just created yesterday. Basically,
Hey.
I'm going to be throwing in just like motivation mantras. I'm going to do workouts. I'll do like my podcast link, or like if you guys have any ideas for like what you want to hear about or what you want me to talk about with you on the podcast, like it could do that. I'm creating a book club through that as well. So we'll do like a monthly book where we'll like have this chat where we can talk about the book monthly. It's going to be it's already so exciting. I've already got a few people that signed up since yesterday, and I just know that it's going to be very, very like fun, and it's just community based. And I just want there to be a place where we can all just talk about woo stuff and motivational stuff, and basically just give everyone like all of what I am offering. You know what I'm saying? So,
I love that. Definitely give me the information because I want to be there. And
absolutely.
That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. I've been following you for a while now, and just I love seeing everyone's transformation. But it's just like you came into yourself, you found yourself. And there's nothing more beautiful and empowering than that.
I had to lose myself first, but yes, she's found.
That's how it goes. You can't be found if you're not lost. So
100%.
That's how it goes. Well, this has been so much fun and so amazing. And literally I could talk to you all day. So it's like we have to do a stop. Otherwise it'll just continue.
I'll have you on the Chats with Your Self-Worth BFF podcast down the road, of course, too.
Absolutely. We'll know when it's aligned. We'll know when there's a topic you want me to talk about. And I can't wait. I'm totally looking forward to it. And yeah, if my listeners like what I like to talk about, definitely check out her podcast, because we're in the same path, and same for hers. If you love what she talks about, check me out. And I look forward to just see what the future holds for us and all of our listeners.
Yes. All right. Awesome. So great. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you all so much. Have an amazing day, an amazing week, and I will see you soon. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to find out more, you can follow me on Instagram at Empowered with Deanna, and my personal page, Fit Deanna Lolita. You can also visit me on my website, which is DeannaMerlinoFit.com. Make sure that whatever platform you guys are listening on, please rate and subscribe. And this means so much to me. It's going to help get me out there to help so many other people. I'm so grateful that you're here with me on this journey of wellness and self-empowerment. I cannot promise that it will always be easy, but I do know that it will always be worth it. Stick with me, and together, let's start living as the version of us that we were meant to be. Because the world is waiting for your gifts, and you deserve to live the life of your wildest dreams and beyond. So friends, let's get empowered.